will let our panelists introduce themselves, and then I will also introduce myself, which I have not done yet. I am conscious of. You can see our little names floating out. You've probably seen our faces in the mail out, but I'll hand over to our panelists. So we'll start with you, Robbie, then Mons, then Kara, if that's okay. Kia ora koutou.
Tēnā koe te tuahine I nā kōrero. Kia ora mai anō rā tātou katoa. Ko Robbie Paola tōku ingoa. No Ngāti Whātua Rake. It's nice to be here tonight with some friends to have a kōrero. I guess I represent Whai Maia, which is the social, cultural and environmental arm of our iwi. We have our trust board, our commercial arm, and here I am working for Whai Maia. I also am part of the cultural and heritage team. I'm lucky enough to be a part of that team, which looks after the kōrero tuku iho of all the sites of significance throughout Tāmaki Makaurau. And I'm happy to be here. Nō reira, tēnā koutou.
Kia ora no tātou, tautoko ngā kōrero a te tuahine, ka nui te mihi ki a koe Robbie, nā koe whakatūwhera I tō mātou rā te kaupapa o tēnei kōrero, nā reira tēnei te mihi. Tēnei te mihi kia tātou katoa kua tai mai, kua hui mai ki te whakarongo ki a mātou kōrero, nā reira ka nui ngā mihi. Ko Monster Juice tupura tōku ingoa, hiori au no te tairawhiti, no te atanga mahaki, te whānau kai, ai te tautoku mama, ai te tautoku pāpā no ngā tupurau. Kia ora. Kia ora everyone, my name is Monster Juice Tupara, born and bred from the East Coast, raised in Gisborne. My whole life up until the point I decided I wanted to study architecture. Then I moved up to Auckland. And I thought it could be interesting to kind of talk through that journey actually as a part of my introduction to kind of highlight the vehicle that brings me here tonight. Studied at the University of Auckland and I completed my thesis at the end of 2019, of which our fellow panelist Karamia was there to crit me. Literally the day after that, I started an internship at Auckland Council, which as a part of the Māori design team alongside Phil Wihongi, Olivia Haddon, and what was then the He Maunga He Tangata intern, Alia May. And that was with the Auckland Design Office, now Urban Design Unit. And that experience was huge for me. And as a part of my time there, I got to work on a whole heap of things. And one of Phil's biggest things is getting, trying to flood, architecture firms and other practices with more Māori and Pacifica people. So during my time there, I was lucky enough to spend some time at a few different architecture firms, of which I was lucky enough to be offered a role at JazzMax, which ties into my hononga to our facilitator tonight, the wonderful Elisapeta Heta. So I'm an architectural graduate at JazzMax. And on top of that, I'm a tauira whaihanga with the Wakamaya team, where we do a lot of Māori-focused mahi and are there to kind of help our practice, along our bicultural journey. Super excited to be a part of this kōrero tonight with my fellow panelists, and I'm really looking forward to it. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you, Mansol. Thank you, Elisapeta. Kia ora koutou, malo lava le soifua, o lo omo ingoa o Karamia. I'm a lecturer. My name is Karamia, and I'm a lecturer at the School of Architecture and Planning in the Faculty of Kai at the University of Auckland. I think through Indigenous spatial practices, creative practices, and I'm honoured to be here. I'm also the youngest of 5, so I'm very much used to keeping it brief when I say hello. So I will end there, but just to say thank you also to the Auckland City Council whānau and the Auckland Conversations team, and of course my fellow panelists for having me on board a youthful waka. Kia ora.
Karamia and I are going to drag out the youth as much as humanly possible tonight, I believe. Kia ora koutou, ai ko Elisapeta Hinimoa Heta taku ingoa, I te taha o tōku pāpā. ko Ngāti Wai, me Waikato Tainui ahau, i te taha o tōku mama, ko Samoa, Tokelau, me Inarangi ahau, anō hoki. So I have a bit of a mixed / mashup of whakapapa, which I'm incredibly proud of, and love that it really tends to make me from Tāmaki Makaurau in that bit of a city of sales kind of baby, I suppose. I am fortunate to have grown up in Tāmaki Makaurau in Te Atatu for the majority of my life. Studied out there and then came into town Taonenui, to also study architecture at the University of Auckland, and then later I also did another master's degree through the Museums and Cultural Heritage department, particularly looking into artist collectives. So I've kind of had this very interesting life that's both looked at our relationship to kind of space and history and what's been told and what's not been told, both through the lens of architecture and also through the arts. That's been kind of how I've come to the types of mahi I do now. And now I am presently an associate principal and also a kaihotu whaihanga at JazzMax. I co-founded and am a co-lead for our Wakamaya Rōpū, and am incredibly grateful for that position. Within our team at JazzMax, as Monsel has covered, you know, we have this amazing position now to be able to support our project teams and all of our clients, and hopefully more mana whenua, more and more and more coming into these projects. And it's fundamentally about our ability to change the way our built environment looks and feels for future generations is what gets me up every single day to do my mahi. And I feel very lucky to be able to do that. I suppose outside of my 9 to 5 as well, I do a lot of writing and have had quite a few exhibitions over the years, including this year being very fortunate to have brought an exhibition home from the City Biennale last year to Tāmaki Makaurau to show at Object Space, which was a collaboration with the very esteemed photographer John Miller, who has also seen and documented effectively the entire history of Māori social movements in Aotearoa over the last 50 years. So a diverse background is where I come from, both in terms of whakapapa as well in terms of the types of mahi I do. But from my perspective, it is always fundamentally about being able to tell our stories in our spaces and normalizing those. So that's a little bit about who I am and where I am from.